Okay, so this week we're going to take our first tech check, which our tech checks are basically just to see how well you've learned the objectives that we've been teaching so far this year. And so to practice for that, to get ready, today we're going to work on this passage, and along with the passage, there's a poem, and of course there's some questions that go with it, okay? So we're going to look at this as a practice for what we're going to do on Wednesday. And so for today, I'm going to take a grade on your annotation, which is an awesome word, and a grade on the answers that you get. So the first thing that we always want to do is write our name on the paper along with our class period. And so this is fourth period. Okay, says read the next two selections, then choose the best answers to each question. Okay, so pretty much the same instructions every time. So first I'm going to look at the title, Finally Home. I think that means they're glad to be home. So I'm going to put a comment about what I think the title means before I even start it. And then I'm going to start reading, okay? If you can't make friends in a small high school, how do you think you'll make friends once you go to college? My father had asked. I sighed and picked up my drumsticks as I pondered yesterday's conversation with my father. Maybe Dad is right, I thought. Maybe there is something wrong with me and I'll never have real friends. Okay, so for each paragraph I'm going to stop. I'm going to think about what that means. So he's talking about, obviously the narrator is I. Maybe there is something wrong with me and I'll never have real friends. Dad thinks the kid, I'm going to say the narrator is a kid because he's going to go to college. The kid has no friends. And the kid's thinking about it. Thinks about the talk with Dad. Okay. I closed my eyes and began playing a steady rhythm. And I'm assuming he's using these drumsticks. So he's drumming. Calming the turmoil in my brain. I love that vacant garage. It was the perfect place to practice my drumming without anyone bothering me or judging me, okay? I think it's important that he feels like he's being judged. That connects to that paragraph. And so I'm going to write on this side, so just so I have more space, I kind of go back and forth. I closed my eyes and began playing a steady rhythm, calming the turmoil. So he drums to calm down. And he feels judged. Okay, so I'm not writing in complete sentences, but I am, next to each paragraph, going to put out a thought about each paragraph. The year before, my parents had relocated our family to the minuscule town of Demond, where my sophomore class contained exactly 15 students. Most of the other girls were already paired off as best friends, and I was uncertain about how to begin making a friend. This was because I had never been part of any particular group. I simply wasn't that interested in fashion, gossip, or reality television shows, although I occasionally wished I would get invited to parties or other social activities. So we find out that she moved to a small place we found out that she's a girl, not into typical girl stuff, and that left her alone. Okay. And now we have two really short paragraphs, so I'm going to put those together. Thinking about my social life made me irritated and restless. I hopped off my drum stool and headed over to Dot's restaurant for a snack. On the walk over, I heard the sharp twang of an electric guitar that halted abruptly. So she goes for a walk, or goes to the diner, and on the way hears music. Okay, so you guys are going to continue this, okay? This is where paragraphs 1 through 5, I know you should have done really well. The rest of the paper you are going to do by yourself. And again, when it's little paragraphs, you can clump them together. But for the most part, this is what we mean when we say annotating. Yes, it's a lot of work, but once you do all of this work, you're very, very likely to get all the answers to the questions right. So our next piece is going to be thumbprint. I'm going to go ahead and look at this with you. So this is a poem. Thumbprint is it's a cookie that I like. So I'm going to write they're the thumbprint cookies. It is like a fingerprint but on your thumb. So that's what I know about a thumbprint. Fingerprint of the thumb. Okay, so I'm going to read through it. And this is one big stanza, so it's not broken, so I'm going to read through it. When I read poems, I'm going to remember that I read sentences, read to the punctuation, not to the end of the line, okay? So you read to the punctuation, it makes a lot more sense. On the pad of my thumb are wheels, in a unique design, mine alone. What a treasure to own! My own flesh, my own feelings, no other, however grand or base, can ever contain the same. My signature, thumbing the pages of my time, my universe key, my singularity. Impress, implant, I am myself. Of all my atom parts, I am the sum. And out of my blood and my brain, I make my own interior weather, my own sun and rain, imprint my mark upon the world, whatever I shall become. Okay, so I've read it through once, and we always want to read it through, and I see a lot of alliteration. Some of it was even hard to read. Impress, implant, my own flesh. There's repetition, my own flesh, and then feelings. So there's a lot going on in this poem. Okay, so I go ahead and mark that stuff that I've noticed. And now I'm going to go back and do the same thing. I'm going to paraphrase. But this time, with a poem like this, I'm going to look at sentences. So look for periods, and that's where I'm going to try to figure out what each of those sentences means. Okay? On the pad of my thumb are wheels, in a unique design, mine alone. Okay, so her or his, it's Eve, but it's really the speaker in a poem, so we don't know. But her or his thumbprint is unique. Only one. What a treasure to own. Actually, that's its own sentence because there's an explanation part. My own flesh, my own feelings. Okay? So since it's a treasure, the speaker values this unique print. No other, however grand or base, can ever contain the same. So, again, focus on how unique it is. Okay. All right, and the same thing, I'm going to let you finish up, and you're going to do the rest, and you're just going to look for the end punctuation so you can read a sentence or a thought at a time. Okay? So after you do that, you can go through and do the questions. Make sure you know you can use a dictionary. You can eliminate answer choices. And if all else fails, you definitely can guess. So you should have an answer to all of them. All right? So I'm going to let you get to work on that. Let me know if you need any help.